know about what's going on in the tech. Put some soul into this whole tech thing that's going on.
She's a fighter for the people.
Welcome, Reverend Al Sharpton, to the show.
Congratulations on your show.
She's authentic.
We're bringing Joe Madison, known as the Black Eagle.
Congratulations on having the show. Nothing is more important than the local programs that engage our communities.
She's a proud HBCU grad. It's time for Alicia Reece's Soul Food, Food for the Soul, on Cincinnati's 24-hour urban gospel connection, Inspiration 1050 AM and 103.1 FM, WGRI.
Started with just rocks. So we said, give us the rocks. And the rocks is now going to be an international tourism attraction.
For somebody to put some time into it like that, you got to be real. That's a big sacrifice to step out by yourself.
I dedicated 5 years in getting this to go from vision to reality. We needed to have public and private partnerships.
All I saw was a bunch of rocks. I'm like, how you gonna put a Walk of Fame right here?
20 years we've been trying to figure out what to do with that particular lot.
What in the world? Like, it's just rocks, Commissioner Reece.
So I'm like, what they building or what? She doing what? What is this? What is she doing?
Just listening to Alicia tell me how it's gonna be, I'm like, we can never make this happen.
Commissioner Alicia Reece had her ups and downs during this entire process. She even had to have knee surgery.
God prepared me for this journey, and I didn't even know it a long time ago.
Commissioner Reece told me, go to Kinko's and print off a flyer. And I mean, this is the morning of.
People from all over the world will come here and understand the stories behind our legends and our icons. We created the culture. It came from right here.
All right. Yeah. So next time we do that, we're going to keep our, get the music going, back to the show music. But thank y'all for tuning in to Alicia Reece Soul Food, Food for the Soul. My goodness, 8 years with this show. And we got something we're planning for this. So y'all stay tuned. 8 years for Alicia Reece Soul Food. This is, I don't know, maybe my third or fourth radio show that I've had. 30 years in the game, 30 years in radio, broadcasting, marketing, film, 30 years total since college. I started at college with radio show and continued out of college and came back with Alicia Reece Soul Food radio show and podcast. And we're going to do a lot more. I mean, we always are ahead of our time, right? We're doing every year we're trying to improve. We're streaming now. We were streaming and now streaming is in. Ain't that something? We've been streaming. And so we're glad everybody caught up with us now. But podcasting is big and streaming is big. And we're on the radio, 2 radio stations, 103.1 FM, 1050 AM, and on various platforms. We're going to kick off next week. We'll be on our YouTube channel, Alicia Reece Soul Food. So we want you to like our YouTube channel. We want you to like our Facebook page, Alicia Reece Soul Food on Facebook. And we want you to share. We've got a lot of information that we've been able to get out and we want you to share. So Alicia Reece Soul Food, it's food for the soul, food for the soul. And, as we go and look back on 8 years, how did this all come about? People say, well, how did you come up with this name, Alicia Reece Soul Food? And how did it all come about? And we're going to be able to share a lot of funny stories about how it all started. But 8 years ago, it started. I went back to Grambling State University, our National Alumni Convention, and it was in LA. So I went there and I was excited. I was a state representative and I'd been vice mayor of of Cincinnati, and I broke all these records, and I was the youngest to do this and the first to do that, and all these things. I was very proud. I had been president of the Ohio Legislative Black Caucus. I'm like, wow. So I go back. I'm very proud. Had been Miss Grambling State University. Had my own radio show that was very popular in 3 different states. And this is before they were doing syndicated radio like that. And we were on FM, and I had a show I created, and I was very popular in 3 states: Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi. And so my goal was, I'm gonna, own radio stations when I come out. I'm gonna have my own media company. I'm gonna, but we didn't have social media. This is before social media, where you could just, get a laptop and get a smartphone and you can do these things. This was, you had to really invest in some real live equipment, and it was very tough. And so I was going to do that. But then when I got home, radio went into conglomerates then. I mean, so Clear Channel came and they bought up a lot of stations. It's now called iHeart. And then on the black side of radio, Radio One was created. And so a lot of the independent radio stations were not, you couldn't really own like one station or 2 stations. Even here, it's just, they own multiple stations. So it was very hard. And I ended up working at WCIN radio station for $500 a month. I always say that. So it's always the money. You got to come in and got to start somewhere. So when they say you started at the mud, I came from the mud. You know what I'm saying? And worked my way up. And that's when Lincoln Ware said he was getting ready to do a talk station, not a station, but a talk show. And that would be daily. We didn't have a black talk show daily. And he had saw, me producer for my dad's weekly show. And then I was on my dad's show, and I was excited. And so, that's the Lincoln Ware Show. And I was the producer. We came from nothing. We had no money, and so forth. So I've been in radio. So I go back to college, right? Because now I've been, elected city council, vice mayor, state representative, president of Ohio Legislative Black Caucus. I mean, I feel like I did all right. They said, Reece, we thought you were going to do something. I'm like, what? They was like, man, how much you love radio. And we just thought you was going to do it. So I got mad. I came back home. I said, man, I got to get back at it. I got to get back to those dreams from college. And I'm going to have a radio show. And, I'm in Columbus, Tuesday through Thursday, but I'm always home on Friday. So I said, maybe I can do this podcast. And I had been going all over the country, called Looking for the Soul. Y'all know I love soul food. So I just, on my phone, I go live and I said, Looking for the Soul. And I was in Vegas, going to different, whenever I go someplace. Vegas, I found Grits with a Z. I went to some other places out in Vegas to see how their soul food was. And then I went to Philadelphia and went to some of their soul food places. All this is before they had these critics that are out here now making money, because you couldn't get the clicks and the likes and all that. It wasn't monetary. I was just doing it because I loved it. It was fun. And so people started calling me, girl, I'm out of town. I'm here. Where's that restaurant you was at? Blah, blah, blah. And I went, and Jerry Springer was doing podcasting. He would fly in town in Kentucky to do his podcast. And I knew his producer, Gene Galvin. I've been knowing him for years. And Gene actually worked for me when I was on city council. So I say, Gene, I want to do this podcast. He said, well, come on across the river. Jerry comes in town every week to do this podcast, but you had to have a lot of money to do the podcast, right? You had the production and all this stuff. So anyway, I went over there, and he would have these folk singers that would perform, and then he would talk about issues. And so I said, after it was over, I talked to his team, and I said, man, I want to do, I got to get back at it. And I want to do a podcast. And I said, well, the great thing about a podcast is everybody can do it. This is the first time podcasting came out, not now. This is the second wave of podcasting. And he said, the good thing about it, everybody can do it. The bad thing about it, everybody can do it. I said, oh, man, how discouraging, right? Because I got to be in Columbus Tuesday through Thursday. And I believe in traditional radio, right? And podcasting. So I want to mix the old school with the new school. And so anyway, we got done. I was kind of discouraged. And then I said, well, I got this. Can I do anything with this? And I showed him my Facebook page looking for the soul. And what I wanted to do was to be on the Food Network and I said, maybe I could film during the summer. And back then you could just turn in a treatment. Now they don't want treatment. They want you to produce it, direct it, and put it all together. That's what they want you to do. And then maybe they'll pick it up, right? So anyway, long story short, they said, now that's it. I said, what's it? I can't be going, all over the country with production and all that. They said, no. That's the name of your show, Alicia Reece Soul Food. I said, wait a minute, I ain't gonna be at the soul food place all the time. And he said, no, it's bigger than that. Alicia Reece Soul Food. Everything you do, you put your soul into it. And this is how it all came about. So I had the name, and I knew they called me the next day. So I know I was on to something. Because, if they call you the next day, you're like, man, I'm on to something. So I prayed about it. So I run into Carl B. Hannon, and he was at the station here at that time. And I run into him at a concert, Midnight Star. And I said, man, I got this idea, I want to do radio, Alicia Reece. So he said, well, call me, Carl, yeah, this would be great, blah, 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 blah. So he introduced me here. And I always say God led me here to the Inspiration Station. And I said, man, God gave me the vision. Then he put me with the Inspiration Station. Wow. And so we got going, and I said, I got to get a big guest. I got to get some big guests. So I started out, and I got Bishop T.D. Jakes, and I had some actors and actresses. Y'all might remember those who've been with me from the beginning. And then I would have it on, you could pick it up on Apple Podcasts and some others. And then I said, I had a person that was going to do video, but they took too long. And I want to say this to the people that's in the video and photography business, because of how social media is now, and you got to get your message out quickly. You've got to be quick. Can't take the pictures and be 2 weeks to get, it's old news. You can't come and do a video and then it takes you 72 hours to edit it. It's old news. And so I had a person that came in, young person, they was an intern. And by the time they took the photo and video, I'm on to 2 more shows. And so I came up with, I learned to be very innovative. I came up with my laptop, and I took this laptop everywhere. We were at the NBA draft, the show. We were at the Urban League National Convention for the show. We were everywhere because I could just we was at the tournaments that my brother had. We were down in Florida, national tournaments, because I could just put it up. Now we have even improved it more. Now we're streaming. Now, not only are we on 2 different radio stations, but we're also on different platforms. And I have a very good team, my engineers, folks over there, led by Christian and everybody. They said hi. Aziza, she's the one who told me, hey, get on this platform. And so now we're going to even take it bigger. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be having a major celebration coming up of 8 years. That's a long time for this show. 30 years overall. And so what I love about Soul Food, we can talk about a lot of topics. We're not in just one topic. We're giving you information. The show is about information, inspiration, and resources. If we give you one of those, we've done our job. If you get all 3, you got the buffet. And Soul Food, we break it down to cornbread, collard greens, so you can understand it, right? And so we're very proud of the show. And I thank everybody that has helped us take it to the next level. And we're going to keep going to the next level. But that's how we got started. People say, how did you get? That's how we got started. So wanted to tell y'all that. Get ready, because guess what? It's time to vote. And no, I am not on the ballot this time, but I'm always about voter registration, voter mobilization, all the way back to when I was a little kid working on my dad's campaign. and then went to college and did my own thing and took on the David Duke, former KKK. Somebody said, who is KKK? Ku Klux Klan wizard. He was running for governor. We registered, we mobilized, and we got out and voted. I came back home, worked for a congressman. I got people registered. I got people mobilized. I run for city council at that time, youngest to run. And then with that group of people, I think we had 21 candidates. They said, ain't no way you gonna win. I said, yes, I am. And no young people were running. It was bad to be young. Young people weren't interested in politics. It was before Obama and all that when everybody started getting excited. And I wanted to prove that you could be young, you could be Black, you can be a woman, and you can win city council. I became the third, only the third Black woman in history to win city council. That's 1999. Youngest, still to this day, in history to win Cincinnati City Council. Created a new way in how we win, just like I did with Miss Gramlin. I ran for Miss Gramlin, created a new way. Now they got new rules. New way getting people involved. So that's just been my life. No matter what, whether I'm on the ballot or not on the ballot, getting people out to vote. And we changed city council. After me, more young people, and it became majority young people winning city council when they just kept telling me, you're too young, you can't do it. So we have changed the trajectory. We got people out to vote. We're excited. But it's that time. Every election is important. And what I love about elections is that it's no more talking. You got to put up or you got to shut up. So coming up on the show, I'm excited. We're going to have Veda Stevens, who is of course, he's my chief of staff. Y'all know Veda Stevens. But he's also the president of the Southwest Ohio Black Democrats. They've got a major summit coming up. This ain't the first time they put the summit together. I like the fact that they didn't stop. I like the fact that they did it and they kept going with it. And they were very helpful with our Voting is Essential campaign. They got a major summit coming up this Saturday. It's going to be at the Holloman and Justice Center of the Urban League. And that is the Avondale Town Center. Somebody, where is that? It's the Avondale Town Center. And starts at 10 a.m. I'm super excited. We're going to have him on to talk about what is happening with that. I don't want to hear about what are the young people doing. They want something. It's Saturday. And you can be involved. And I'm happy to be a part of it, as many are going to be a part of it. I'm happy to be the keynote speaker. And they're going to commemorate 60 years of the Voting Rights Act. So it means a lot to me. It's not just a talk. I had a chance to be the speaker at the 50th anniversary nationally of the March on Washington as the Voting Rights Act was attacked. So we're going to talk about that. I want everybody to get to the radio. I want everybody to share this video so we could get the word out. But before he comes on, I want to also talk about the unclaimed funds. Unclaimed funds, y'all. What is that? Well, $4 billion is sitting in a fund at the state. And these are, maybe you had a check that you didn't cash, or $15 or $20, or maybe you overpaid a bill and you never claimed it. Maybe you bought some stocks and you never claimed them. All these different things. Somebody might have died and left you a few dollars. So it adds up. 4 billion, and it's going to be in Hamilton County, it's 200 million. Okay, so you need to find out, do I have some funds and how do I get it? And so we launched and I'm gonna be clear, we say we, this is something I wanted to do in my office, and we launched it, an unclaimed funds initiative. And we launched it this Wednesday at the Healthy Aging event. We have the computers with our 513 relief bus, and the auditor's office was there, as well as the treasurer's office. We got computers. We now going to have computers to help and see, do you have any unclaimed funds? And we want to shout out all the seniors. It was great to see them out at the Word of Deliverance for our Healthy Aging 513 relief bus. And I'm so proud to be the founder of the 513 Relief Bus Initiative. So today we're in Silverton until 2 p.m. This is today, meaning Friday. I know this replays on Saturday. We're at Silverton if you want to stop by, or you go to 513relief.org. 513relief.org and find out where the bus is going to be. You can go up there and someone will help you to see, do you have these unclaimed funds and how do you get them so the check can come back to you. We have people, the lady jumped up, I didn't know $263 I'm supposed to be having. And we were able to connect them with that help. So, or you could call my office, 513-946-4401. 513-946-4401, and we will try to connect you to the money. All right, now we are super excited to have Veda Stevens, who is coming over here right now. Come on over, Veda. Veda Stevens, welcome back. Alicia Reece Soul Food. Let's get this. There we go. Welcome back to Alicia Reece Soul Food. And we are excited to have you. Mm-hmm. Don't move, because they got me in how we get it. There we go. Excited to have you on, Veda, to talk about voting. Mm-hmm. We've got an election. We always got an election. A lot of people don't know that, there's an election. Yeah. We've got local races. We got judges. And every year, we always have a get out to vote. That's just so important. My show, we do it. Voting is essential. We've got to get out. We've got to vote. And if you don't, you see the consequences. A lot of people are feeling the consequences. I don't know why they shocked. We told them it was written what's going to happen. And now it's happening. And everybody, oh man, I'm so in shock. I can't believe this is happening. They already told. Usually they don't tell you in advance it's going to happen, right? This is something new. They told you. They gave you a playbook. We told you, here it is. I even had Benon Rucker on my show. He broke it all the way down. It was in writing. You could read it for yourself. I don't know why you're shocked. But local elections matter. And I've been on the side of the council races and those kind of things. But before we get into the nitty gritty, I want you to talk about the summit that is coming up. Is organized by young black folks. When they say, what are young people doing? And the Southwest Black Dems, I think last year was your first year for the summit.
That's right.
And we were on there talking about it last year. So come on out. It was at New Prospect Baptist Church. We told them to come out. It's happening again, part 2, because you got to keep this stuff going. Tell us about the summit that's happening this weekend.
Absolutely. And, I'll start with the fact that you said it happened last year, but you have to keep it going. I am someone who loves history and believes that in order for us to move forward, we've got to know where we came. And when you look at the civil rights movement, you understand that none of the changes that were instituted and the hard fought fights that took place resulted in change overnight. From the time when Coretta Scott King and Dr. Martin Luther King began their activities to Rosa Parks not giving up her seat, to the time when the Voting Rights Act was finally passed, was almost a period of 10 years. What if they had quit? What if they had given up after all that they had been through? And so I channel folks like that who have come before me with that same spirit and that same fervor, understanding that whatever you do, you give it your 110% self and you stick with it. We don't have time to go home and go to bed and pack up. And we understand that we're living in some very serious times, times of which we've never seen before, as you say, where they are telling you outright what the plan is to undermine the voices of our communities. And so we are excited, the Ohio Young Black Dems. I lead the Southwest Ohio Young Black Dems chapter here in this region to bring back the second annual Youth Voter Engagement and Organizing Summit this year in the community of Avondale, at the Avondale Town Center, at the Urban League Holloman Center for Social Justice. And it is important to note that, yes, we will have speakers. Yes, we will have workshops. Yes, we will have panels and all of the likes. But at the same time, it is consequential that we take action at our center core with ensuring that people understand the changes that have taken place within our political domain here in Ohio when it comes to voter ID laws. Long gone are the days when you can walk into the Board of Elections and bring in a utility bill, a bank statement, a government document. But now you are required by state law to come in with a state ID, a voter ID, a driver's license, a passport, or a military ID. Else they will cast you into the provisional spot, and it gets risky there when it comes to ensuring that your vote is counted. So we are taking time to work with people tomorrow to ensure that they understand the changes to voter ID law, that they are registered to vote. They're also making it harder to cast absentee mail-in ballots. You and I both know last year when we were planning the summit, it was around Labor Day.
Yeah.
And you recall the Secretary of State announced some stark changes as it relates to dropping your ballot off in the box at the BOE. Needless to say, there is only one drop box in the whole county of 830,000 people. So talk about voter and disenfranchisement and discriminatory tactics that we have seen before. And so while it is the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act, and while we should be celebrating that legacy, celebrating what it meant and the barriers that it removed, at the same time, we are reminded that we still have more work to do to mobilize, organize, and build coalitions. That's what tomorrow is about.
Absolutely. And so tomorrow, what's the time?
Tomorrow, it is 10:30 to 2 p.m. at the Holloman Center. And then at 3 p.m., we will be over at Zola supporting a small Black-owned business in the Avondale Town Center for a Day of Action, Get Out the Vote effort.
Absolutely. So, and this is free.
This is totally free, no charge. And I know we like free. And so we are not going to be
Veda's
charging
learning
anybody.
from me every time. Free, it's free. You know, we this last year with the whole new voter ID. And before that, when I ran in 2020, it was about voting is essential. And we're still on voting is essential. Today is our kickoff because every election I do get out to vote. This is the kickoff for our get out to vote efforts. Voting is essential. We are so happy to support the Southwest Ohio Young Black Dems and their efforts with the summits and workshops that you've had, not just now, you've had all year long.
That's right.
Workshops, and you'll be able to come and check your voter ID. Everyone should double check because there's so many games. When we did the double check last year, we found thousands of people who had no idea, who voted every election and had no idea they had been wiped out because we had the double check. We trained churches, we trained organizations, we went everywhere, even spent money on advertising, partnered with the Congressman Landsman. Every time y'all saw me, I was hollering double check. We had laptops everywhere we went. You know, one of the things that we do is we have these pop-ups that I do, and that's something real big for my campaign. But even at the pop-ups, Veda, we had laptops, we were checking people, and people were shocked.
They were shocked.
These were not just young people. Oh, that's the young people. They not registered. These were people who had been voting for 20 plus years.
And Commissioner, what's interesting is, as we noted, last year was the first presidential cycle where these new laws were instituted on the book. They were signed in March, right before the primary took place. And so we had to devise a plan and a way to make sure that we got the information to the people, but not only the information, but walk them through the process on the spot. So as you say, we conducted Zoom call trainings. We conducted in-person trainings.
Yeah.
We locked forces with community leaders and organizers. We went after the senior citizens. We organized the college campuses to ensure that folks could participate and no one got disqualified. And, you know, they said to me, well, we need to make sure that we vote down ballot. And my response to that was, how can we vote down ballot and even talk about the candidate if people don't have what they need to be able to cast their vote in the first place? And so we had to get up to speed and then make sure the people were up to speed and be on the front lines. To put on a summit, as you know, is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's work that I'm willing to do because if not you, then who? And it's bigger than, you know, contacting folks and developing the run of show and organizing the food and making sure that, you know, the information and the work that we're doing is substantive. But we also have to make sure that we get people there. We also have to make sure that we are marketing and maximizing and leveraging to ensure that this event is worthwhile. And we have and intend to continue to do that moving forward.
Yeah, that's important. That's this Saturday, starting at 10:30 a.m. Get to the Holloman Justice and Policy Center. It is located, I always say people know where the Avondale Town Center is, located there in Avondale. I'm excited to continuously be a part of it. And this year, I'm going to be the keynote speaker. And I'm excited about that. I've been very supportive of the Southwest Young Black Dems. I've been very supportive of young people for a while, giving them the real opportunities and seeing them grow. I'm just super excited about that because a lot of people talk about it. You know, oh, we want the young people and all that. Because I'll be honest, I was put on the ticket to run because Democrats at that time we had no young people. Young was not in. They put me on a ticket, but they said I wouldn't win. Just put her on. I was kind of like part of the show. And my job was to give the rah-rah and, you know, everybody get elected but me. But no. We are technicians. I am a technician. Yes, I can give the rah-rah speech, but I am a political technician. And so learning that from, obviously, I think one of the greatest political strategists, Dr. Stephen Reece Sr., and there's a technical side of this. A lot of people don't understand getting elected. It's about who gets the most votes. You're not going to get every vote, but who gets the most votes, and numbers matter. You know, so when people say like in this last election, you just talked about it. They changed the way voter ID. We had to educate people. That wasn't easy. We didn't have the big money to do it. And not every candidate, not a lot of candidates was caring. You know, they benefited of the work that we did, but they didn't care. They weren't going to go out and do it. They didn't do it. I'm going to just be honest. I want to say I took it to a lot of people. Landsman, congressman is the only one that said, this makes sense. So we put it together. We did it. I said, I don't care what y'all do. We going to be on voter ID because if we don't, our voters will be disqualified. The people who are going to come out and vote, they'll come out, but they disqualified, and it's too late once they show up and they say they're not on there. Right. So this was not easy. It's the hard work. The easy thing to do is say, hey, I'm on the ticket and y'all, you know, and I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen any of them pass out nothing with my name on it. Now I passed out stuff with their names, but this is very technical. And so when you look at, and I have to say it's a blessing for me as a African-American woman, Black woman, and no hardly that much money, and to get 218,338 votes. I just want to put that right there. We're not the same. 218,338 votes, second highest number in the history of a county commission race in 285 years. What Jay-Z say, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. It's a numbers game. Whoever get the most votes win, right? And that's why it's so important, the work that you and the Southwest Young Black Dems are doing, because we got to get the numbers.
Mhm.
Whoever get the most numbers win. And these numbers have been super low. City council races, the last time was just so the lowest they said almost in history. When you have low numbers, that's why you got more people running.
Mhm.
Because when you get low numbers, you can, if it's 30,000, I can go find 30,000 quickly myself. But you start getting into somebody else say, well, wait a minute, I can do 30,000. But when you start talking about the 218,338 votes, that's a difference.
It's a big difference. And as you've pointed out, politics is about numbers and people. And then, of course, the funding that's needed to get the message out there. And, this work is not new to me. Like you talked about your days at Grambling. I also come from civil rights. And my great grandmother, who grew up in Lafayette, Louisiana, had to experience at that time literacy clauses, where she was forced into having to interpret the Louisiana state constitution in order to vote. Now, there are politicians in office that don't even know what "ought" plus "ought" means on the page.
Right.
And so in that, she moves to Ohio, became an active participant of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and wanted to be on the front lines to help make a difference. Who knew 5 decades later, I would attend Miami University, where the Freedom Summer 1964 movement took place, which was all about voter registration, getting out the vote. And it wasn't just Black folks who were in the movement doing this work. Miami, there ain't that many of us there. But it was white folks who also stepped up to organize one and another to ensure that everybody's voices were being heard in our electoral democracy. And so at that time, of course, I began, when I got to Miami, organizing and galvanizing the students on campus to get out the vote. We renamed some of the residence halls and honored them for some of those who had lost their lives doing this work. But we also were able to designate Miami University as a voter-friendly campus and see a 5 to 6% increase right before the midterms through that work. Yes, I was in student government. Yes, I worked in our government relations office. But more importantly, I was on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that I'm out of college, been with the Congressional Black Caucus, had that opportunity, but to return home and see what happens when those dollars come from Washington to the ground has been an eye-opener for me. And now I can attest to, hey, your vote meant something, because I've seen it, and I've seen where those dollars went and where they were allocated. And even being at the commission, seeing individuals like yourselves who are providing opportunities for young folks like me to be at the table, asking the hard questions, opening up the process. This emboldens me to be even more aggressive about getting out the vote, because I've seen what happens when government works for people. And that's what I'm about. Faith in the fact that government works. Somebody got help. The results were tangible. And so I'm almost as a witness and able to be on the front lines and an ambassador of this great work to ensure that people like you continue to get elected to office, because the results and the investment, it is measurable.
It's very important. The summit is this Saturday, everyone. Come on out. You don't have to be, you're young at heart. I consider myself still young, but I was with the first young Dems, and I'm not with that anymore because I done moved up. It's so funny. They say, well, you're like the dean now because I'm the only one around, but I started young. But you don't have to be.
No.
This is for everybody.
We are extending the young Dem
young at heart. The young at heart.
We got the young at heart. But as you know, we've got to be able to work together. We can't burn the bridge that brought us over. I'm a person of faith, and I understand that it is the seasoned folks that have the wisdom, right? But it's the young folks that had the strength to continue that vision. And so we walk hand in hand.
Well, one thing I love about it, when you talk about what happened with the Freedom Summers, and that's what the summit is about, we have to get trained. Everybody's just jumping out, and you don't have any training. And everybody wants to be the leader, but there's no training. And even with me, I was in training. So the summit will also, with the workshops, will allow you to get trained. Because I got people right now holler, Alicia Reece, I'm not down at City Hall. You don't know the difference between City Hall and county government. I got multiple city halls. And when we talk about get out the vote, we're not talking about just Cincinnati City Council. We've got North Side's got, North College Hill has elections, and Forest Park's got elections. And we got elections all over Hamilton County. And so they have city halls. Norwood's got a council election. We've got school board elections. We've got townships have some elections. Springfield Township's got an election going on. There are numbers of elections. And so you can't take on a system. You know, people say, well, we're going to take the system on. You got to understand the system. But even with us at the county, I can't tell you I know everything yet because it's been 285 years and we ain't been in it. But when we get there, we just had a big meeting. I said, I want Vader in the meeting because we got to pass this on. You get what I'm saying? So now we can compete. We can't compete because we ain't really been in the meetings. So all we're doing is arguing with each other. We're fighting each other. I was on a call earlier today. I said, you know what? The Democrats, we sparring with each other. We ain't got in the ring and fought the real opposition. We're in here sparring with each other. Our community, we're sparring with each other. We're not in the game. So when you come to the summit, you'll better have workshops. Number one, you'll find out that the county ain't the same as the city. And that when, I got somebody, they put on social media, Alicia Reece, she ain't did nothing but run her mouth. Well, that means you are uneducated. You're uneducated. We're in the fight of our lives. This is historical right now. We're talking about the freedom fighters, and we're reading, as you said, reading. And I'm sure your grandma's like, why does my great-grandchild got to go through what I went through?
Same battle.
Because I went through the battle, so they don't have to go through it. But even if we're book smart, we don't know how it works. We don't know how this government thing works. People calling me about something that City Hall would be taking care of. But because I've been in 3 governments, I can say, well, they just don't understand. They all over social. Alicia Reece ain't done nothing and this and this and this. It's got to be somebody uneducated.
Yeah, and you're right. We get calls at the county commission about the fact that the trash wasn't picked up, in Avondale, or it wasn't picked up, in Hyde Park, and we're at the county, and so to your point, part of this is just making sure that the community is caught up to speed with how these things work, and it's not that anybody is putting anyone down, but it's trying to ensure that people are empowered to be able to have their voices heard, but more importantly, get results. If you're looking for change, well, at the county, you can't be at the city. And if you're looking for change at the city, you can't run over to the county. And so understanding how all these things work from the local level to the state level to the federal level. And what I find interesting is a lot of times, and that's what we're seeing right now, we celebrate once things are passed and once things become cemented on paper. But it is there is a lack of due diligence of seeing it through and ensuring, just like with the Voting Rights Act, that a number of the provisions were enforceable. You had the Supreme Court in 2013 under President Obama's administration that gutted Section 5, which was one of the most important provisions, which ensured those who had a history or a track record of discriminating against persons of color and citizens, anytime they made a change to the voter laws, they had to check in with the federal government. Well, that's gut. Right after that, we saw Texas push some of the most restrictive voting ID laws in the country. And now we have what we have here in Ohio, because that checkup, that enforcement piece, the due diligence, the staying on top of it. Now, right here, even in Ohio, we celebrate issue 1, issue 2, and they tell me at the state legislature, they're still in battles as it relates to ensuring that those funds that were designated get to the municipalities that they were supposed to get to. And so you have to, as you have taught me over and over, we can't celebrate because we got something passed. We can celebrate when we see results and people have been helped.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. We got to be in it for the long haul. It's no, people say, man, didn't we win that? They're in it for the long haul. And we come in and we have a upset moment or we march about something, but we ain't marching to the polls. I didn't like the fact that we had the women's march. I gave her that idea to Hillary when she was in town. I said, hey, she was at the union term. I said, we should have a women's march and men march for your daughters and your mothers and let's march to the polls. And she thought it was a good idea. She took it back to the people, whoever they were at the top, and they said, well, who does this Alicia Reece think she is?
Yeah.
She's nobody. She's too little for us. We're the big time folks. And so they big time themselves, and we lost. Or they lost. We won our election. But they lost. Because I went on and did mine. I did my little march, as they called it. And we marched on in there and voted. And they went on there and voted for Alicia Reece. So, but I said, let's have this around the country. Soon as she lost, we got a big women's march. So timing is important. We got to know what time it is. If it's time to vote, we got to be at the ballot box. We got to know when it's time to vote and when it's time to talk. And we're going to be voting soon. So everything you said, this person got something to say, and this is what I think. They're going to know what you think at the ballot box. And the first time you can vote is October the 7th through the 10th. You can vote early. You can go to the Board of Elections, so you don't have to say, oh, where am I supposed to go? You go down to the Board of Elections. And that starts October the 7th. You got to November the 2nd to vote early. I see people all the time come waltzing in after and then say, man, I didn't get to vote. So one, voting is timing. Timing now is to register, double check your ID so that you can get in the game. It's just like going to the game. I'm going to be going to Withrow High School's game tonight. Withrow plays LaSalle. Well, to get in, I got to have a ticket. So the first thing I got to do is have a ticket. I can't be talking, man, Withrow and LaSalle, this what's going to happen. But first, I got to get a ticket so I can get in the game. So your voter registration is your ticket to get in the game. Now you in the game. Now we got to know what is the strategy. Withrow, how will you beat LaSalle? Or will LaSalle beat Withrow? Who will have the strategy? When the game clock go on. Now, right now, everybody talking. Man, Withrow, we the one, and we gonna do it, and we undefeated. And LaSalle, they talking. Man, we gonna get Withrow. There's a lot of talk going on. Ain't that how they do? Right. A lot of talk going on. Right now, a lot of talk going on. I like this one, I don't like that one, and this one ain't did nothing, and I'm gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. First thing you gotta do, number one, you gotta get a ticket so you can be in the game. That is your voter registration. Second thing you got to do is now know who's playing. You don't go to the Crawford Canelo fight and then be hollering about where's Mayweather. I'm mad at Mayweather he ain't getting in the ring. He's retired until he do his other. He's not fighting tonight. So you can't go and say, man, Alicia Reece ain't on the ballot this time. You at the wrong race. You at the wrong fight. So now we got to find out who's in the fight. So now we research. That's why we got the summit. Research who's in the fight, who's actually on the ballot. Who's on the ballot? Now you get the information who's on the ballot. Now it's timing. It's time to vote. We supposed to be voting and you on the radio talking. And then done missed the date. Now after November, you hollering, man, I got a problem. This is the time to do it.
To your point about timing, last year we had the summit situated right after the DNC, if you remember.
Yep.
So right after, Kamala had come out and made her announcement and everybody was, super hype about it. We knew that folks would be in their minivans and buses coming back home, and we were ready for them.
That's right.
We had that summit at New Prospect. I want to thank Pastor Damon Lynch for allowing us to utilize his church. I want to thank you, Commissioner Reece, for sponsoring and backing us. I want to thank Congressman Landsman for backing us, sponsoring us. These are people that were there at the beginning, right? And invested in us as young leaders. And now we're returning again, and we've got it situated. We're talking about timing right before early vote, not after early vote, not after election day, but before early vote, to make sure that people are equipped with the tools, the resources, and the knowledge they need. How are you going to knock doors if you don't know the issues?
Right.
How are you going to mobilize and educate voters if you are not educated yourself? And so that's what we're trying to curtail and prevent. And more importantly, we're focusing on the folks here on the ground. A lot of times we have people that come out of town and out of the city and out of the county and out of the community, and they want to come and tell the folks that live here in the neighborhoods how they ought to do it. But we're trying to empower those that are here on the ground because they know the community better than anybody else. And so that's why I'm excited. You talked about, yeah, this is not a city council thing. It's not a county thing. It's an everybody thing. We've got folks from the city coming, but we've also got people from Woodlawn coming. We've also got people from Lincoln Heights coming. We've also got people from Forest Park coming. And at the same time, we have people from Bond Hill, Roselawn, and Oakley and Hyde Park and the likes, because we're joining hands tomorrow to ensure that nobody gets left behind and everybody understands their duty to participate and cast their vote.
Tomorrow's the day, Saturday, 10:30. Be there. Get there at 10 o'clock because I know y'all be late. Get there at 10 o'clock. And I'm going to be giving the keynote at lunch.
That's right.
At lunchtime. I think that's 12 noon. Come on out and go to these workshops. And you know, it's also a council race at Lincoln Heights. So my point is, meet these candidates because it could get confusing. It's confusing to me. Can't jump up. I'm running. Find out what it is. Find out who it is. And so this gives you a chance to find out who it is and to those who are running. And I say this to myself as well. When I'm not running this time, but you know, sometimes we want to see you when you ain't running. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden you show up. You know, Crawford had to get ready for the fight. He didn't show up when the guy said, let's get ready to rumble. And then you said, well, who is this guy getting in the ring?
He was working out.
He been working out. He been telling you what he gonna do. And Canelo, he's working out. They didn't just, okay, it's the day of, let's get in the ring. And then they want you to run and turn on Netflix. You ain't gonna turn on Netflix if you didn't know it was a fight. You know what I'm saying? You ain't heard. They always want to give you their background and what they're doing. And, you know, now you know about Crawford. He got shot in the head and drove himself to the hospital. And he done had to come from the mud. You learning all this stuff about the boxer. You don't just show up when it's time for the game. And so we'd like to see some of these people showing up when they ain't just running. Don't just, every time you run, then you inundate us with selfies. You can't selfie your way to prosperity because these are tough, tough times. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't care who you are. And then think that you're going to get there by criticizing somebody who is doing something. So like Veda said, this is tough.
You had said last year, I remember you were on the radio and you said one of the issues is that we are fighting over crumbs. We already aren't getting necessarily our fair share.
Right.
And it is a struggle, right? And we're doing what we can to deliver and to turn out the vote and to educate and help people. But that work becomes more challenging when we're fighting over the little that we have. And so we have to see the bigger picture and encourage more collaboration, encourage more partnership, real partnership.
Yeah.
Now that's another class for another day, right?
Veda can give y'all some real, that's why I have him in the room. So he can say what's really happening. And when you are working hard, it's a lot of work for everybody. Everybody can do something because they're hitting us from all angles. I mean, they hitting us in the sports, they hitting us in politics, they hitting us in business, they hitting us in the private sector, they hitting us in the public sector. There's a lot to do. What we got to do is quit sparring because I don't like no sparring. I mean, I done trained. When I get in the ring, I want to have a real fight for the people, not the sparring. And we got a lot of people that are distractions. And it's not for everybody. Entrepreneurship might be for some people, maybe some not for others. Corporate America might be for some people, not for others. Being a doctor might be for some people, might not be for others. It's okay. God gave us all. Some people supposed to preach and were called by God, and some people picked up the phone and called themselves. I mean, these are just, it's just it's just what God gave us. So this summit will allow you. It's not designed for everybody. I gotta be the elected official. It ain't meant for everybody. We got to have somebody as the chief of staff running the place. We got to have somebody as marketing and communications to get the message out. Everybody can't be the elected official. Now, these people come and they vote. They expecting us. They going to work. They expect when we go to work, we got their back.
That's right.
And so you'll find out from the workshops. Don't not go to the workshops. Come get the workshops and the techniques. Don't get with just the rah-rah speech. Dr. King could give the speech, but he had his team, Andy Young and all them, Jesse Jackson, all these people. He had a team that he put together that could go in and handle the negotiations, right? We came out with a Voting Rights Act. We didn't have but one congressperson. We had now we got all these congress people. We need to be moving from an act to a constitutional amendment. That's why I said a voter bill of rights. We don't want to we can't get mad at King. King did something. We haven't had real results since King. So now we got to get to results. Freedom fighters, like you said, and writers, they were trained.
That's right.
When somebody went to jail, it wasn't somebody just running wild.
No, they were prepared.
They were prepared. They knew what to do, how not to resist, lunch counters, all of those things. All of those things happen. So we got to be, our problem is we're not trained. We don't know the difference between this and that. We don't know the rules. The rules have changed. We learning from social media. Now they done decided that they can lie on social media. So we don't have no real way of getting real information. So Veda, once again, tell us what we're doing on Saturday.
So Saturday, September 20th, 10:30 to 2 p.m., I'm announcing the second annual Youth Voter Engagement and Organizing Summit. We are calling all young people, community leaders, community organizers, those who are not even politically engaged to join us. There's room for everybody at the table, and we all have a role to play. We're going to hear remarks from Cincinnati Vice Mayor Jane Michelle. We're going to hear remarks from Senator Kathy Ingram. We're going to hear remarks from longtime community advocate and activist Iris Rowley, Civil Rights Hall of Famer. We're going to have panels and hear from our president of our Urbanly Young Professionals, our Cincinnati Black professionals, My Brother's Keeper, the Literacy Lab, and a number of other community organizers and leaders. We will also have keynote remarks from County Commissioner Alicia Reece. We're going to hear from State Senator Willis Blackshear, one of the youngest elected officials in Montgomery County, who's also been a huge voice with the Ohio Young Black Dems. And now look what he has gone on to do and become. And we are going to move into, right after that, a day of action at Zola. She's going to provide some light bites, sounds and music by DJ Tariq. He and I went to Princeton together. And we're inviting the Democratic Party. They've partnered with us in the coordinated campaign to do the voter registration, check IDs. We're going to have turf cut for organizers and folks who want to hit some doors. And a lot of people ask, how do I get involved? I'm angry, but I don't know how to get plugged in and take action. Well, this is the opportunity for you. It's an opportunity for involvement, networking, growth, and bringing real results for our community. And I am excited and looking forward to tomorrow.
All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow. We're kicking it off, y'all. Our annual Get Out to Vote. Voting is essential, and excited to partner with the Young Black Dems of Southwest Ohio. We'll see you tomorrow. We got a message for you, but hey, you got to take action. Also, don't forget, look at me. I got a new thing coming. Alicia Reece, I'm back on the track. Alicia Reece on the track. Check it out. We got some funny stuff. I'm walking that track. I'm trying to get in shape. I'm trying to work it out. Check it out. Like us on our Facebook page. Okay, everybody, until next time, good luck with Withrow Tigers. We'll be out there for you. Don't forget the hot sauce. Peace.